Sorry about the late start, everybody. Can you guys hear me? Hi. Um, we're just getting number 4 to bed, so there's no way I could have done 8 o'clock anyways. Anyway, I'm sorry, you guys. I literally sat down at 8:28 and I was like, oh my goodness, good thing for Grace, as I'm seeing you guys be like, is it 8 or 8:30? And Amanda let me know in Insta story. She's like, it's not 8:30, it's 8. Will you close the door? How is everyone?
Great, thank you. How are you doing?
Hi, I'm good. Happy back from vacation, Amanda. Stephanie's on. Amber, can you hear us? Oop, maybe not. Stephanie can hear us. All right, cool. I don't know if Amber can. Hey, Amber.
Hi, guys. Sorry, I hope this works. It's streaming through my Bluetooth. Can y'all hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you.
Awesome. I'm probably really nice and loud, too.
Mama for multitasking. Check that out. I love it.
Absolutely. We start school tomorrow, so we had a last-minute shopping thing we had to do.
Tomorrow you start school?
Yes.
Oh, and Lauren is in and out. So, hey, there you are. How are you, Lauren? Can you hear me? Lauren Friedhoff, can you hear me? She can't hear me. Up. Can you hear me? I'm not sure if she can. Okay. So hopefully you can. You just if you're on your phone, you just have to click the audio button and usually you can get it. There's a chat functionality that you can use if you want to ask a question, but this is a small group. So we're going to keep it verbal. So whose first FAQ is this?
I think this is mine. It's Amber.
It's your first one. I know Amanda's not new to these. Stephanie, have you been on an FAQ before? Nope. Okay. Lauren, can you hear us now? I'm going to unmute.
My laptop, I don't know why it wasn't working. Maybe
Hi.
my laptop is too old for these fancy things to work.
What's up, girl? Is it your first FAQ?
Yes, Coach FAQ, yes. I was on the Zoom, I think, was that last week or the week before?
Last week we did a team call. Yeah. Here's the cool thing. We offer lots of different things and you can try to get to whatever you can get to or not.
Yep.
The Coach FAQs, we just started last month. And so we've been picking diamond coaches. And once a coach becomes diamond, they go on the schedule and it gives you a chance with a diamond coach to ask them anything. And what's cool, like we did it for a month and I was like, I don't know if people are getting anything out of these. And I did a poll and it was like a resounding, like, we love the FAQ. So I was like, oh, okay, we'll do them for August and see if they keep adding value. Oh, Stephanie, good. You did one with Heidi. So, I think, I don't remember. So somebody did the FAQ last week and then we try to also alternate the time so that we're doing them either at noon or at 8 o'clock so that we're making ourselves available to all different schedules, all different work schedules, all different time zones.
Awesome.
What's cool about it is I don't have an agenda at all. I don't have a PowerPoint. There's no presentation. It's really about what you guys are either struggling with, what you have questions about, what phase you are in your business. If someone is hosting a call and they're a diamond, they've obviously been doing something right to start to grow a team and start to have some sort of leadership capability. So they all offer different perspectives and it gives you a chance to connect with different women on the team. So with that being said, I'm going to let you guys talk about what's on your mind and we can go any direction you want to go.
Hey, it's Amanda. So my question is about nutrition programs.
Okay.
I have a couple of challengers that have been following the 2B mindset for a couple of months now, and they're feeling discouraged with their results. They were hoping for bigger results. And so, just trying to continually support them and encourage them and lift them up for the victories, both scale and non-scale, that they've seen. But when do you kind of say, maybe this isn't working. Maybe we try you on a portion plan, or maybe we do a detox or something. Like, when do you know when is time?
Yeah, that's such a good question. So for those of you who don't know, I was in the 2B Mindset test group. So I've been doing 2B Mindset since November, so close to a year. And I'm going to be real bold here, and I'm going to say that I believe that 2B Mindset works for everybody, period. So because I believe that, and because I've seen so many people that have gotten results, and because it's a program that tailors for your particular body based on how you're tracking, this is what I've been doing. And please keep in mind that I am still learning too. So I have a year, I've had a challenge group that I opened up in January, and that challenge group follows whatever is going on in the Beachbody world. So right now my challenge group is Lift 4. What that has meant for my 2B people, or my people that I'm bringing on that want 2B only, means that I'm doing this side coaching on the side, which I'm not sure if I'm going to keep. Well, there's benefits and there's disadvantages. It's super time consuming. However, it is really giving me a chance to practice coaching someone on 2B Mindset. So let me give you an example, Amanda, because I have this exact same thing that's going on. So I have a woman, and her name is Christina, and she does not want to do anything fitness. She only wants to lose weight. She's 40 pounds overweight. She's got 2 small children at home. And so she decides she wants to do the 2B Mindset. Won't be in a challenge group. So I'm like, okay, the only way I'm going to be able to know if this is working for you is if we are doing weekly phone calls, and I'm going to do sporadic text messages where I'm going to be asking you to like take a screenshot of your tracker. Okay. So we had this conversation ahead of time, and I'm like, I'm going to give you some tough love, because I've also been working with her for a year, and she doesn't stay consistent. Right. So I know I have to stay on top of her. So what I've been asking her, she's like, well, I'm not losing any weight. So it's been 2 weeks. I'm not losing any weight. She says, okay, great. Please take a picture of your tracker. I want to see Saturday. I want to see Tuesday. I want to see Monday. Shoot me those. Like right away. Don't go and fudge your tracker and then take a picture of it. Show me your tracker. So she shows me your tracker, and I look at it, and then we have a chance to have a conversation again, right? And the tracker shows me a ton of things, right? Like if she's not being detailed on her tracker, I'm like, okay, you just said you had chicken tacos inside of lettuce wraps. Like what was in your chicken tacos? And like, we are getting detailed about what it is. And what happens is she ends up being like, well, I probably put a lot of cheese. Like, well, how much cheese? Oh, probably like 2 cups of cheese. Okay. 2 cups of cheese in your taco. Right. So, and then like the more we start talking, the more that I have not ammunition, because I'm not trying to be like me versus her. I'm on her team. I want her to do well with this. But my point is that in the 4 years I've coached, whether it's Portion Fix, it's Shakeology, it's a workout program, when someone tells me it's not working and you really dig in, most of the time it's not working because they're not working the program.
Right. And I get that it's an awesome product. I guess my question is more about, is it not a good fit for the person? Like some people just need more structure, and some people don't do well with portion control. So maybe it's a personal decision, and I'm going to continue to coach her through this because it's working for me and it's working for so many other people. But I guess it's more of a judgment call when to say when, like, because she's still sharing, screenshots of the app, and she's showing me that she had a salad with chicken for lunch, and then a quesadilla with cheese and for dinner. And then she had a Shakeology after dinner. So that's not dinner and done, and that's carbs for dinner and no veggies. So, it just might not be sinking in. And, I don't want her to get discouraged to the point where she gives up altogether. So I think that's just kind of like a judgment call that I have to go through. And I definitely want to look into the certification as well.
Yeah. So in her situation, I might say to her like, okay, so when you decided to have the Shakeology after dinner, I just want to make sure that you and I are speaking the same language. Did you watch the video that Alana did on Dinner and Done? and see what she says. And if she says yes, be like, okay, so you watched Dinner and Done, so you know part of the program is Dinner and Done. Like, is it a habit? Were you just so hungry that, like, why did she end up having her shake afterwards, right? Because sometimes they'll tell you they watched the video and they haven't watched them at all. Another perspective is this, and I'm not saying that you're not doing the one-on-one coaching. I know that you are doing the one-on-one coaching with people, but in the beginning, so I just had a phone call with a girl who I knew 10 years ago, and she says to me, I've been watching you for 4 years, and I'm 35 pounds overweight, and my doctor just told me that I have to lose 25 pounds. Like, it's putting severe pressure on my heart. She's only 46. And she said, but I'm so scared I'm going to fail. I'm so scared that I'm going to start something and not do a good job, and then I'm going to get discouraged, and it's going to put me in a worse place than I am now. So I said, okay, this is what we're going to do. I'm going to send you, like we talked about Shakeology. So I'm sending her 3 different flavors of Shakeology. And I said, in the 3 days it's going to take you to get the packet, I want you to write down 4 things for me. 1, can you commit to tracking your food for 30 days? 2, can you commit to making your shake a daily habit? 3, can you put Audible on your phone and listen to the Compound Effect on your way to work? Because she needs a mental transformation too. And 4, what's number 4 that I asked her to do? 4, can she commit to stepping on the scale daily? I said, so for 3 days, I want you to think about those things, because those are the 4 things I'm going to ask you to do, that no matter what, you have to promise me you're going to do those 4 things. And if she comes back and she says, I can't do that, and we talk about the reasons why, then maybe Portion Fix is better for her. Right? So you might want to say to this girl, like, I would really go with like the dinner, like she's not using Plate It. She's not using the Plate It method because she's not doing Dinner and Done, and she's not following the Plate It method. So 1, you want to trust and verify that she's watched those videos. If she's watched them, how many times did she watch them? Did she take notes? Is she taking pictures of her food and comparing it to the plate? Like, do all those like dig-in questions right there. And then you can say to her like, hey, my job as a coach is to encourage you, but it's also sometimes to give you a little bit of tough love. And if you're telling me that you've watched all of these videos, but you're still not adhering to 2B mindset, we have to uncover why you're not following the program, because that's why it's not working, because you're not working the program. So maybe the program's not right for you. Maybe it is right for you. But before I send you to another program and you don't do that program and get further frustrated, we got to talk about like what's roadblocking you.
Okay. Yeah, that's great.
Maybe that.
I think those are just more questions that I need to like pull layers off and get down to.
There's no coach that's better at it than Heidi. Heidi is like the queen. I mean, she should be a shrink in her next life. She is so good at getting to the root causes of things. That's not a natural thing for me. So after 4 years of doing it and listening to other coaches, like, you just get better and better every time, learning the questions to ask. Because our goal is to uncover things, not to be like, haha, see, you're not doing it, right? We don't want to put people on the defense either.
Right, and I don't want to come off that way either.
Right, we don't want to come off that way at all. But that's why sometimes I'll say like, hey, I'm asking these questions to get to the root cause, because when we get to the root cause, we can figure out what the best solution is for you. So if you promise to be honest with me, I promise for this to be a safe place where we can come up with a new plan that's going to work.
Thank you, hon.
You're welcome. That was a good start. What else? Is anybody getting 2B Mindset certified? Amber, I'm there. Okay.
I am. It's Heidi. But it's just my voice. But I am.
Hi. Oh, hi. I just gave you kudos. Did you hear me talk about you?
Yes.
I didn't even know you were on the call. What's up, girl?
I just jumped on. We just got done with parent night, or meet the teacher, or whatever it's called.
Oh, you're back from Houston.
Yes. Yes.
Oh,
thankfully.
Welcome.
Yeah.
Welcome home.
Thanks. Thank you.
Amber, I'm unmuting you. Did you say you're getting certified?
Yes, I haven't signed up. I need to do that right now. I'm a school administrator, so with school starting tomorrow, I've been swamped for 2 weeks, so totally, I need to sign up. Yes,
you have been. I get it. No problem. And then Stephanie and Lauren, have you guys done 2B Mindset, or are you guys Portion girls? You've done 2B, Stephanie?
I have not done 2B. I've been doing Portion, but the more I hear about it, the more I think it's something I should look into. So potentially.
Yeah.
I did 2B Mindset just so I could learn more about it, but I'm a portion girl 100% with those containers.
Yeah. Yeah. And I think
so I steer people towards the containers because that's where I'm more comfortable.
Well, that makes sense. And I think to Amanda's point, again, the longer you coach and you ask questions, you want to steer them based on where it's going to be best for them. I absolutely hate portion control. I hate the containers. I hate feeling shackled by them. So that's a really good thing when you're talking to people. You want to ask them some questions that are going to help you understand, because some people absolutely hate 2B Mindset because it's too loosey-goosey and they're like, just tell me what to eat. And you're like, well, you can eat this or you can eat that. And so to Amanda's point, I don't think 2B Mindset is, well, it has been around long enough where I've had some women try it and go back to portion. Not that many, but a couple have. And then there's some people that will not even try 2B because they love the portion so much. So you've got to make sure that you're asking people, hey, what are your struggles with nutrition? What has always been your struggle with nutrition? What are you an abstainer? Do you have to abstain from things that that are a slippery slope, or can you moderate? Can you have a little bit and treat yourself? Like what I always love that question, because like I am a total abstainer. If there's any like pirate booty in my house, I will eat the entire bag of pirate booty. So I just don't buy it. My kids don't get to enjoy it because I can't handle it in the house. So for me, 2B is great because I just buy what I know is okay for me. With portion, it was like, oh, you can have a little bit of cheese. And I was like, yeah, that doesn't work because I end up eating, a pound of mozzarella instead of a little blue container. So that's a really good question to start off with people. Are you a moderator or an abstainer? Do you do better having a little bit and rewarding yourself with a treat? Or is it better for you just to stay away from treats altogether? And that question sometimes is usually the one that I use to figure out what's going to be the right meal plan for that person. What else?
Is Amber talking?
Oh, is she? Amber, you're unmuted. You've been muted.
Okay. Sorry, I'm like you said, I'm multitasking. So, finally parked home. This month I'm not as good as inviting because, like I said, the work has been impossible to squeeze in any other time. But last month I did a lot of inviting. I was doing my power hour every day, and I was just having a hard time like securing the deal. Like everybody would be all excited about it, and then we get to the end and they're like, okay, well, that sounds good. I'll let you know. And then it would just like fell off. So I think after doing Alicia's Q&A, I don't think I'm asking enough questions. I think I have to ask more questions so I don't sound like I'm like selling it and I'm pushing it on somebody. But do you have any other advice for like, once they say, yeah, that sounds good, I'll get back to you. Like, how do I finalize that? How do I close it? I don't know.
Well, okay, so each situation might be different. Let me ask you a couple questions. So have you gotten to the point where you've said like the challenge pack costs this much and I'm going to send you the link and what's your email address? And okay, great, I'm going to send you the link, and then they just disappear? Or do you not even get to that point?
We get to that point, and what I had been doing, which Alicia says she doesn't do, is I send them the link to my website, which she says is overwhelming, that I need to use to share a cart. So this week I went on and I watched a YouTube training video on share a cart, super easy. And that I know that's another thing that I need to do is share a cart versus sending them my website where it's completely overwhelming with too much stuff. So that's one thing. So I probably just need to reach out once I've gotten a routine and ask questions more. Okay, you've had a time to look at it, and then ask those questions. What did you like? What didn't you like? What are your goals? Kind of. But yes, I have gotten to the point where I've gotten to cost, and that's kind of where they've fallen off on me.
Okay, good. So what I do now versus what I did when I was a brand new coach, what I do now, by the time I send them the link, I would say 9 out of 10 links I send get filled out within 4 hours, right? When I was a brand new coach, I would send out links and like people would disappear. So the difference between that, when someone goes dark on you after you've sent a link versus when somebody signs up that day that you do send them the link is that I'm basically securing all of the details before I send the link. So that like without a shadow, like when I send links, I'm not worried people aren't going to fill them out. So it's that conversation, right? It's the beginning of that conversation where you've got to sort of go through a lot of those details. So if people go silent on me after I throw out the price, right? So I'm still quite a ways away of sending out a link if we're just now getting into pricing, because I think it's important that they understand what they're getting. So if they go silent, I'll usually follow up with them in a day or two and be like, hey, so-and-so, I haven't heard from you, and I'm putting together my challenge group and, want to make sure that the spots are secured by this date. Or, hey, so-and-so, I haven't heard much from you. I hope I didn't scare you off. Where did you go? Like, it just depends on what kind of mood I'm in, on how I'm going to get them to re-engage. And a lot of times they'll come back and be like, oh, that price is too expensive. They'll say like, or I can't afford it, or my car just broke down, or I had something unexpected happen, blah, blah, blah. So I'll say, okay, no problem. Tell me this. When you say that the price is expensive, what are you comparing it to? I always ask, what are you comparing it to? Because then that gives me an idea on what they think they're buying, right? Sometimes they'll be like, oh, I saw some protein powder in Whole Foods that's $30 cheaper. I'm like, okay, so clearly I didn't do a very good job talking about Shakeology. Or they'll say like, I've decided to sign on, my gym membership is doing $15 a month. So, so it just gives me an idea to understand that. So then once they tell me, once they answer that, and a lot of the times they will answer that, right? And if they go dark, I'll follow up with them in another day or two, and I'll be like, hey, so-and-so, the time, and I'll let them off the hook. So I'll say, the timing might not be right for you, but I just was curious, when you said it's too expensive, what you're comparing it to. Would you mind letting me know, just so that when the time is right for you, I make sure I'm doing a good enough job explaining to you what you're getting yourself into? And then I'll do like emojis or something. And so when I follow up like that, especially like if it's my third follow-up, and I'll say, and I learned this from Bob Heelig, I love it, the timing might not be right for you. So that's already like, when they read it, they're already like, okay, she's not trying to sell me on anything. She's not trying to push me. And that's exactly true, because as Alicia said in one of her calls, you want to act like you don't need their business. Right. And there's that like, that vibe that comes with that. But at the same time, I don't want people in my challenge groups that are not ready to make a change because they drag my challenge group down. I want people who are gung-ho and fired up. And when I get those people in my challenge groups are great with engagement. So when they tell me what it is that they think it's expensive, then it gives me a chance to walk them through. And so sometimes when I'm going through what they're getting, I'll bullet it. Like, let's say we're talking in Facebook Messenger, and let's say we've been doing it with voice, and now it's to the point that I'm going to talk about what they get with the 160 or the 170 or whatever they're buying. And then I go to typing, because I want them to come back and reread it and sink in. So if we're doing voice messages and I'm like, hey girl, I'd love to have you in the challenge group for lift 4 is 170. I'm going to go ahead and type out what you're going to get. So if you have any specific questions on how this challenge group can serve you to help you accomplish your goals, you can reread it. And then I go to typing. And so I always type this. I'll type, so for the 170, you are going to get early access to lift 4. And then like, I'll maybe say something like, I've got 80 women in my group right now that are crushing this program, lift heavy, and I'll do like an emoji. And then I'll say, and when that is over, you will have access to stream over 900 other workouts for 12 months. And then I'll do like, holla, holla. Like I just sort of, like, it's like you're talking to me is how I'm writing it. And then I'll say, you get lifetime access to my virtual community, which I run in an app. And then I'll put details to come on that later. And then and you get one-on-one coaching with me. And I always end that. You get one-on-one coaching with me because, and I forgot about the Shakeology. Sorry. And then before that, I'll say, you get a month's supply of Shakeology. It's so yummy. And replaces your vitamin. And I like the way I type, I'll have to show you an example. It's like full of emojis and hashtags. And then I'll say, oh, and then you get one-on-one coaching with me. And I always end with that, because if I'm going to tell them that they're going to get one-on-one coaching with me, they're getting all of this. They're getting access to this program. Oh, and if they're buying Lift 4, I've probably thrown in, they're getting some resistance bands, and they're getting whatever comes with it. I don't know, a cup. I can't remember. So I kind of go through that. And when I list it like that with emojis, it's like, yes, I'll send the script, Stephanie, for sure. I got to dig deep for where those are, because I've been sending the free workout. That's been my gist for the past 3 weeks, but I know I've got one somewhere when Lift 4 was first coming out. So I'll send it. I'll send it to you. And I'm going to come back to that, because I want to make sure that I'll come back to that. So when I list it like that, it's like, it really visually shows them the value that they're getting. And I'm not talking about products. Like, a lot of what I'm talking about is like my virtual community, the fact you get to do it in an app, one-on-one coaching with me, and like forever. Like, we can be together forever if you're going to commit to doing a Beachbody on-demand program or Shakeology. So when I list that, then a lot of times I'll be like, what do you think? And then they'll come back with more questions. So I guess my point is, there's a lot of back and forth that gets us to the point that when they say they're ready and I send them the link, like, I know they're going to fill the link out, because we've sort of hashed out a lot of the kinks. Does that make sense? Does that make sense?
Yeah, all that made sense.
Yeah. Okay. And Stephanie, yes, I'll send the script for sure. And hi, Amanda. I'll send the script for sure. And you can use whatever part of it you want to use. Just make sure it sounds like you, right? Because that's key in making sure that you're putting out your own vibe.
Yeah, I always like to add my own flair to it all.
Totally. Yeah. So I will put that in Faithfully Fit Central. What else? I mean, Amber, I'm just going to put you on mute so you can greet your babes. Anyone else?
I just have feedback. I think Beachbody should be selling workout equipment, like weights for Lift 4.
I love it. Yes. I'd love it if we'd sell Bowflexes.
Yeah.
So many Beachbody coaches buy Bowflex, right?
Yeah, I know. I'm not quite ready for that yet.
I think I was almost 3 years in when I bought Bowflex. No, probably 2 years in. And the funny thing is, I gave them to my husband for Father's Day. Terrible.
Happy Father's Day to you.
He wanted them too, but I use them. Yeah. I mean, because I actually was trying to do Lift 4 on vacation, and those bands just don't cut it.
No, and you can't track like your progress with them. So I just put them on the floor of the passenger seat in our car. Yeah,
exactly. Well, my mom road tripped, and she's like, I brought you weights, and she had brought a 5-pound and an 8-pound, and I was like,
oh no.
Okay, I've been using 30s on leg day, but we just kind of improvised and redid a couple of those workouts when we got home.
Yeah.
All right. Anyone else have anything? Social media is going okay?
Yeah. I haven't been getting as much engagement with my well, first of all, whenever I post like a question, not a poll, but a question, I don't really get much engagement with those. So I have to tweak how I'm doing them. But the polls have been going great still.
Good. And are you getting more feedback on Instagram than Facebook?
With the polls?
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I don't think they have questions. I think they just have
they have a poll, but you can only have 2 options.
And I only get so many. I don't think I'm using the stories feature to its potential on Facebook. like, because when you try and geotag, like it's really hard to hide the location.
Okay.
So, like, really tacky, and the only location that comes up for me is like Connecticut. And my views are super limited on Facebook. I think I get like 20 views or something.
I don't even do them on Facebook.
Well, I do them because I already curated them for Insta Story. So I just throw it up there.
Yeah.
And I be a few, and every once in a while someone might just respond to it. It's not anywhere near Insta Story, but it's very limited. And now, you know, the last couple weeks I'm still not home yet, but I've noticed the difference in views. When I went from Virginia Beach to Norfolk, I got like a ton more views, and now I'm in Maryland and I'm back to like 50 to 75 views. So.
Okay. Yeah, you just got to keep. Amy Silverman she's like the current number 2 coach right now. And she did a national wake up call. I mean, it was probably 2.5 years ago. And it talked about reinventing yourself. And so I noticed this with myself, like sometimes I will get so in like the routine of doing my social media or my Instagram stories or my PD or whatever. And I don't take a step back to be like, is this working? Right. And so as I've matured as a coach on Sundays, and I've been using Alicia's brother's book, which has been like a game changer for me. I'll be like, okay, what is working in social media? What is not? Is my PD that I'm reading right now helping me? Because like my personality is like, I'm in the middle of a book. I need to finish the book and then I'll go to the next one. And now I've changed that. Like, no, if this book I'm reading is not helping my business in the phase that it's in right now, and I'm 6 chapters in and I have 9 more to go, I'm moving on to a different book. And I've actually quit books before, which is so anti my personality, but I'm really trying to take her advice and say like, look at your social media, look at your challenge groups, look at your team, look at your posts on Facebook, look at your Instagram stories, look at your workouts, look at your nutrition. If something's not working, or if you step back and do a bird's eye view and it is like status quo, nothing has changed, like I'm getting the same views on Instagram stories as I have been for 3 weeks, I have to change something. And maybe that change drops me down to even lower views. But eventually, if I keep tweaking, I'm going to get something that clicks. So I'm not just talking about social media. I'm just talking about take some time every week and back up and do a bird's eye view on your own business and keep tweaking and keep reinventing yourself. Keep changing up your posts. Which is why it's not surprising that when I went in today to Faithfully Fit Central, I'm like, hey, how is this social media thing going? And like 6 people, and then I got a couple messages behind the scenes are like, oh my gosh, I'm getting amazing conversations. People that never comment on my stuff are commenting. People that never like my stuff are liking my stuff. Well, why? The reason why is because we're thinking out of the box, because we're following a new script with new ideas on what to post. And you're still you're still doing your flair and attracting your tribe. But when you tweak something, things change. So I think it's pretty cool that like Brandy was like, oh my gosh, I'm already at Success Club 6. That never happens to Brandy before the 15th of the month, according to Brandy. It has happened a couple of times, but in 3 years of coaching, it hasn't happened that much. And there's no doubt it's because she has been one of those coaches that has tweaked for the past couple of months. And those little tweaks work. Stephanie, my average lengths of conversation with someone before they say yes. So I'm in a conversation right now with somebody who I've been talking to for 4 years. Then I have these like random times where I get in a conversation with someone. Like yesterday I did a whole thing on like, who wants to do the 3-day refresh with me? And like someone out of the blue was like, yeah, I'm in, send me the link. Hour. So it just depends. I never send a link to somebody. Maybe this will help you. I never send a link to somebody unless I've asked them these questions and I've gotten an answer. Like, okay, so I always know how much weight they have to lose. I always know what their rock bottom point is. I know if it's a physical change they need to make, a mental change they need to make, an emotional change they need to make, or a spiritual change they need to make, or all four. I usually know, well, I always know if they've done workouts at home before, what their favorite workouts are, if they do classes, where they do them, how many times a week are they doing them there. I always encourage people that if they have something that they love to not give that up. So Stephanie, like you're into yoga. If you would have been someone talking to me and you're like, well, I do yoga 4 times a week. I will never be that coach that's like, well, you have to do T25 6 times a week or you can't be in my challenge group. I always reply to that like, I love that you love yoga. I want you to keep doing yoga. What I want to do is figure out what is lacking in your fitness life and how we can supplement around your yoga, right? Because if yoga makes you happy, if CrossFit makes one of my other coaches happy, if Pilates makes another coach happy, I want them to keep doing that. I want fitness to be a happy place for my challengers. So, if they tell me, like I've got a Pure Barre girl, she does Pure Barre 4 times a week. She will not give up Pure Barre. Don't want her to. Go through the whole thing. I'm so glad you want Pure Barre. Why are you talking to me then? What do you see that I can help you with? What do you see me talking about on social media I can help you with? So I also know a little bit about their nutrition. I usually, sometimes it just depends. Sometimes I'll get into the whole topic where like I know what they're eating for breakfast, lunch, or dinner. But most of the time I'm not getting into that kind of a detail until after they've purchased their challenge pack. But I will say, when they say to me, oh, yesterday I'm on the phone with someone, she's like, I have amazing nutrition. I'm like, really? Okay. That's great. So when you say you have amazing nutrition, but you also are addicted to chocolate, like tell me where the chocolate fits in with that amazing nutrition. And she starts to laugh, and she's like, well, I actually don't eat breakfast till 1 o'clock in the afternoon, but then I have a salad and then I'll eat some fish and some asparagus for dinner. And then I eat half of a chocolate bar. I'm like, okay. So you actually are making really good choices for lunch and for dinner. But I want you to know, like, because I want people to know what my style of coaching is. So I'll say to her, but I also want you to know that I'm going to truth bomb you right here and tell you that that is not amazing nutrition, because your body needs something better first thing in the morning to give you energy. And I love chocolate and I'll always have chocolate in my life, but eating a half a chocolate bar 4 times a week after dinner is not amazing nutrition. And she's like, I know I need help. I'm like, okay. I appreciate your honesty, because we can't go anywhere without me understanding, like, where are we at here? So I'll get into I usually know that kind of stuff. What else do I know about them? I know if they're working. I know when they will be fitting in their workouts. Basically, before I send the link, I've already had a conversation with them about my challenge group and what that means, and that a challenge group is something that's going to encourage them and keep them accountable. Do they think they can commit to a challenge group for 30 days? If they have over 15 pounds to lose, do they think they can commit to a challenge group for 90 days? And then if they have over 15 pounds to lose, I always sign them up as a coach, because I say to them, like, if you are committing that you're going to be in a challenge group for 90 days, that is also going to include me coaching you on fitness, if that's what we've agreed about, right? Means me coaching you on fitness for 90 days and me coaching you on your nutrition for 90 days, which is going to include Shakeology. And so if you're going to be drinking Shakeology daily, I want you to get it at the most reasonably priced way, which is bringing you on as a coach. So 90% of the time I bring people on directly as coaches if they have over 15 pounds to lose and they've told me that they can make that kind of commitment. And then if you bring on 5 coaches in 5 weeks, then you make $100 extra bonus, which is always nice. So the question is, do I really do as many phone calls as text and conversations? So I do use the phone a lot. I wouldn't even say it's half though. It's probably 30% of the time. But I don't text. I use my voice. I'm a voice girl. I feel like people connect to me with my voice. And that's why, like, a lot of times haven't been as good about going live in Facebook. I used to be really good at it, but now I'm all over Instagram stories, and that's pretty much where I've been spending my time. But I probably go live 3 times a month in Facebook, which I probably need to increase to at least 6 to 8. But again, going live, Instagram stories, people who keep watching my stuff on Instagram stories, like, they will all eventually sign up with me because there's a reason that they're watching. They keep watching. And so a lot, like, then you sort of start to call out your audience, like, hey guys, stop watching, come join. I'm the only one sweating here. You're not sweating, sitting there swiping through my stories, like, again, it's my personality. You're welcome, Lauren. I'll see you later. Hey, Lise, what's up, girl? Bye, Heidi. See you later. So I hope I answered your question. So I know a lot about what's going on with that person before I send the link. And that has taken 4 years of time for me to get to that point. And I swear that it was a game changer for me when I started to use, like, hey, this may not be the right time for you, but I just want to talk a little bit about your health. And people seem to open up more with that because they're not feeling like they're being sold to. And I'm acting like, I don't care if you buy a challenge pack this month or in 6 months down the road. I just need to understand. And then it's you figuring out your way. I know Heidi has a really great way of teaching coaches how to track your people. So whether you streak or whether you have an Excel document, like, leaving yourself those clues on what you're talking about with that person, so you're not having to go back and dig through emails or texts or Facebook messengers. Cool. Amanda, do you have anything before we wrap up? This call actually started late because I thought it was an 8:30 call.
That's okay. Yeah, I got here late too. I was finishing up my workout. I did have a question about the MLM piece.
Yes.
So I have this lady, she's been watching me. She responds to everything I do. She works out in her garage. I sent her the free workout. She loved it. But she didn't sign up for Lift 4. I was like, okay, I'll let her, I'll just keep following up with her. Talk to her about our goals. Then we did the whole 3-day refresh thing. Once again, she jumped on board. Hey, I'm super, sign me up. Let me do it. And then she comes back and she's like, I didn't know this was an MLM. And I said, look, it's a product from Beachbody. I'm not asking you to sign up for anything unless you want to.
Right.
This is just something to help you with your health and fitness, or health and fitness goals or whatever. And she's like, take me off your list. I don't want to be part of any MLMs. And I'm like, you're the one who reached out to me. So I just want to know kind of how we approach those conversations.
So if you are not listening to Brooke Castillo, who is the life coach in she's got the Life Coach School in a podcast, definitely plug her in and listen to her, because all of her podcast a lot of it is being able to, like, kind of separate yourself from the feeling of, like, when someone's like, hey, take me off your list, you're an MLM. Like, of course we all are, like, feeling a bit defensive when they throw that at us, right? But it has nothing to do with you. It has nothing to do with Beachbody. She clearly has some history with an MLM, right? So, I mean, I have not had that happen to me before, but I was her. So I would not do Beachbody because it was an MLM. And I was very shameful as a brand new coach for a long time because we were an MLM, and I felt very embarrassed that I was part of one because of the experience that I had being sold to in my 20s from people who were in MLMs. So, I mean, I think building the relationship with her over time, right? I take that back. One of my brand new coaches that just signed up this summer came over to my house to try Shakeology when I first started selling Shakeology, tried it in my kitchen, pushed the glass away when I told her that she was going to go on auto ship after the initial purchase, and started absolutely, like, bashing that's sneaky and that's what MLMs do. And I mean, this is in my own home. Like, I can't believe that you're going to snag me on auto ship. That's how you're going to get me. And she went off, right? Well, 4 years later, she's a coach and she's about ready to go through Faith Liquid Academy. So it just took time of me building a relationship with her and her being able to trust the fact that, I'm using their products and I'm a product of the product, and she'll see that of you. Obviously, if she's jumping on, the bandwagon of wanting to talk to you, you're doing a very good job marketing because it's attracting somebody, right? You just want it to attract people who are your tribe, and she might very well be your tribe. She's just got to work through whatever the MLM is. So if I'm in your shoes, I might let it go a couple of days, and then I would follow up with her and not say a word about Beachbody, right?
Yeah.
At all. And then maybe the second time you follow up with her, be like, hey, I'm just curious because I'm loving what I do. And I've been curious about it since you said it. Did you have a bad experience in the past with MLMs?
Okay. Yeah. So don't hide from it. Just approach it. And
Totally. But I would give her space because something's triggered her.
Yeah. Right. Okay.
Right. And like, if you don't give her space, she could say something that's really insulting to you. And then it could, it could just give her space. And just remember that it has absolutely nothing to do with you. And really, you should be proud that you rocked it so well that she wants what you're doing. Mm-hmm. She's just got to get through it. And you can probably help her with it, but she's got to trust you enough to talk to you about it.
Yeah. Yep. Absolutely. And she's a local insurance agent. And like, I actually had her marked down on your calendar. You said like, I don't know, focus on a local business or whatever. Yeah. And I actually had her written down to focus on. Like, I was going to ping her ahead of time and be like, hey, are you doing any events, or is there anything I can do to help promote your business? I had this whole thing ready to go. And not that I don't want to do it just because she made that comment, but I feel like she wouldn't almost want me to just because of that comment that she made. So, it's unfortunate.
Actually, that's a really good opportunity, I feel like. So you could let it go for a day or two. And then again, don't do this over email or text. Use your voice. I don't know what kind of relationship you have with her, whether you see her in person or you call her or you leave her a voice message. But I would say like, hey, I'm actually planning out my marketing strategy for the week because you do run a real business. You're not just pushing powder, right? Working on my marketing strategy. And I wanted to highlight a local business, and I had you written down. And I would love to highlight what you do. And then I might say to her, I got the feeling based on your comment that you might have had a past experience with MLMs, and we can definitely talk through that when you're ready. But in the meantime, I would love to be able to highlight you because this is what I've seen in you. I think you're XYZ, and I think you do these great things for our community. And, people like you are following me, and I'm getting some good responses to my posts, and I would just love to be able to help out another business.
Okay.
I think it's an awesome opportunity. Elise says, I feel like you should totally still comment about her business. Yeah. Elise agrees. Yeah. Okay. But Brooke Castillo does this. She did this whole series in her podcast about like separating your emotion from the haters, right? It was a little bit different than this situation because you're going to get people like Jatana Jackson is a top 20 Beachbody coach. She does all the training out there for Instagram stories. She was like, she's big into pageants. She's big into country.
Oh, I love watching her.
Yeah,
she's hilarious.
She's a riot. Yeah. So she put a picture of herself on Instagram without her makeup on, I think this past weekend.
Yes, I saw those comments. They were hateful. And she just, it's like water on a duck's back. She doesn't care. Nope. She doesn't respond, nothing. I love it.
People aren't that way naturally unless you're working on it. And that's where personal development comes in, right? And so if I feel like personal development is that vital behavior that people are like, oh yeah, I'll do it. And then it gets pushed off to the wayside. And I was also I would have, if you guys would have seen me when I was a brand new coach, I was like, I don't need personal development. I've read books. I don't need to do any personal. I was in corporate America. I was a leader in my company. I don't really need personal development. And so the more you do it and the more you find the personal development that's helpful, I have learned that I need personal development around people who are negative or people who have unconstructive criticism. And I've gotten it over the past 4 years, like really rude stuff. Nothing like Chitana, where somebody, for those of you who don't know, like somebody posted on her feed, like, you look like a man, go put your makeup on. Like, that's just not even a human thing to say to somebody. And it's only through being able, of course, I'm sure her feelings got hurt, but because she's done personal development, if you're in the top 20 of Beachbody, you have to do personal development. I'm sure it was much easier for her than someone who doesn't do it to be able to be like, haters going to be haters. I'm going to focus on the people that are in my tribe. Yeah. Yes.
And she actually cut and pasted that particular comment up for everybody to see it. Like, she didn't even hide from it. She just, that was it. Just that one comment. And if you look at the person who made the comment, I'm like, wow. I mean, but yeah, she didn't hide from it at all. She just highlighted it, and she didn't make a comment about it.
Yeah, exactly. I know Stephanie just said, I think it was one of the beauty pageant judges. So, yeah,
probably.
That's tough. So speaking of personal development, so write that down, Brooke Castillo. I know listens to her. She's podcast. She's amazing. And another one, I mean, we talk about the compound effect. It's so good. Another one, well, before I start throwing them out, like, what would you say is the thing you're struggling with most in your business right now?
I feel like I'm doing really well. I've got a lot of conversations going.
Good.
I love the calendar because I kind of was starting to put my own together, and then you came out with that one. I was like, okay, awesome. So I just switched mine to next month.
Good. Okay, good. You guys, I'm getting so much feedback on this calendar. We have a lot of structure people in our team. That's good for me to know.
Yeah. So I have a new coach. I'm helping her. I'm so close to getting her to Emerald. And so I'm like, I'm trying not to rush her. At the same time, I'm like, if I can get her to Emerald, to get a few more people under me, I'm getting pretty close to being Diamond. So, I don't know. I mean, like, that's my thing, is I don't want to rush it. I kind of seem like that's my issue, is I kind of rush into things. And I'm trying not to. But my workouts are going well. I feel really good right now.
Good. So then I would just prepare yourself for leading a team. And if you want to lead a team and you want to have a team of 10 people or 20 people by the end of the year, then you say that out loud. And that's what you tell yourself, and you do personal development to get yourself ready for that. So maybe it's a John Maxwell book, like Mentorship 101. Maybe it's like Entrepreneurial Roller Coaster, where it talks about like how to build a business and make the best use of your time. I also just did a Zoom call that I will send you. I did it yesterday. So I have a group of like 10 of my newest coaches. I call them the goal getters. And I just did, it's like a 36-minute PowerPoint, but you might want to send it to your coach or just keep it in your arsenal. But I talk about the importance of why coaches need to be Emerald.
Okay.
Right.
Yeah.
And again, it's like, here's what I said to them at the end. I'm like, look, guys, and I'm saying this from a very humble place. Like, I am a Star Diamond coach. I don't need more emeralds, right? It's not like I'm a beginning coach where I'm trying to become a diamond and I need 2 emeralds on either side. Right. Like that was a much more like not desperate, but like I was much more like focused on my emeralds than I am now. Mm-hmm. So I'm like, I'm not telling you this because like I selfishly need you guys to go Emerald. I'm telling you this because this is basically the gist. My goal with every brand new coach is that they are profitable in the first 30 days. So what does that mean? It means their Shakeology is covered. The way their Shakeology is covered is by signing up 3 people. And then 2, I want them to make money on top of that. Because I want them to be able to say in the first 30 days, oh my gosh, I made $50, I made $100, I made $400 in my first month after my Shakeology was covered. And the way that you do that is becoming an Emerald coach and getting free leads and hitting Success Club and getting paid Team Cycle bonus. So I go into detail in that call about it. And then I also go into detail about why it's important to put the spouse on the strong leg. And so
awesome. Because that's kind of where that's a conversation I had with her. I said, look, we're almost at the 15th of the month. You're doing well. If you sign up your wife as a coach, then you can become Emerald. Then you qualify for team bonuses.
Yeah.
And she's like, I haven't gotten to that part of training yet. And I'm like, I don't want her to necessarily jump to that part of training, but at the same time, like she's so close anyways. And we're all doing the refresh. And I said, look, just do it like this, get her signed up. Then you can bump up to Emerald. Then you'll qualify because we have all this other stuff going through our group right now. And so I think she's going to do it, but I don't think I'm doing a good job of explaining to her why she should do it.
Yeah, it's hard. So I actually get into that so what I would do if I were you is watch what I say, take notes, and then you deliver it to her, because you're like, don't just send her my video. She doesn't know me, right? Mm-hmm. You listen to it and then you take the bullets and then you say it, right? Because and what I said to my girls yesterday, I'm like, listen, this was me when I was doing videos and being told sign up your husband. I was like, why would I do that? Why would I spend $160 or whatever it was at the time? My husband doesn't drink Shakeology. He's never going to coach. Like, why am I going to spend more money when I feel like all I'm doing is paying money and making nothing, right? And they all started laughing because guess what? That's how they all feel. Until I was like, okay, girls, here's how you have to look at it. And we got into like, it's a second business center. And we got into the fact, like, you're going to make your husband's commission back. If you want to try out beach bars, if you want to do the 3-day refresh, you get the 3-day refresh, you get packets of Shakeology. You can sell the packets of Shakeology. Like, I go through that whole thing to take away their fear of like bleeding money, right? Mm-hmm. So like from a business standpoint, here's how you can recoup your costs. And then I go into like, when it comes down to it, becoming an Emerald coach is a decision. Right? Yeah. You don't just sit and wait for it. You have to make a decision. Right? Stephanie just became our newest Emerald. Woo, 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 woo.
Congrats.
And you make a decision. You're like, I want to do this. I'm going to commit to this. I need to start Team Cycle bonusing. I need residual income. I don't understand it all, but I'm going to trust what my coaches are telling me and what I'm watching on YouTube. And I'm going to sign up my spouse, and I'm going to sign up my first person as a coach, and I'm going to go Emerald. It's a decision. Yeah. Yeah. So if you watch that video, that's huge, because that is what I've learned in 4 years of coaching is when you're building a team, you have to just lay it out there for your team and match their pace. Yes. But you also need to let them know, like, okay, so if you want to keep your momentum going, we do need to keep things moving here, because if not, 2.5 months go by while you're going through training at a very slow pace, and you're like, wow, I've spent, the person has spent $400 and made nothing.
Yeah. 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 And that was the other thing is I told her, I said, look, you have to make the commitment to yourself that you find time to work out, be a product of the product, and you have to do the training. The training for the first little bit, that is your personal development. Get it done. And yes, it includes a book, get it done. And that's how I did it is I said, okay, you know what? I was only committing 30 minutes a day, and some of those videos are an hour long. And so I couldn't get, so I said, okay, I'm going to commit that every night I'm going to commit like a section. And next thing you know, I was like at 40, 50% for a long time. Now I bounced through the last little bit because I made the commitment to commit the time and do it. And I'm so happy that I did, because it filled in so many gaps because I was already working the business, already doing a lot of things, and I wasn't done with the training yet. And so I told her, I said, look, you're going to have a lot of questions. It's all in there. So either you hold back a little bit and do the training, or do the training, ask a lot of questions, but commit to doing the training. Yeah. And so, but she's great. I'm super excited. Like, she's jumping on, she's doing great posts. She's struggling with that a little bit. I said, look, I said, I know that you didn't start this posting calendar that Tracy started. I said, but nobody says you can't jump in right now. Right. You can still use those topics. I said, or take those topics, start where we are, take those ones you haven't done and put them into the new month. I said, just they're topics. And then you don't have to think about it. You have to think about what you're going to post, but the topic's already there. And I said, I'm planning out a calendar like that. Oh my gosh. I just wake up in the morning and look at my calendar. What am I posting about today? Yeah. I love it.
It takes the decision out of it, right? Yeah. One more thing before we go, because it's getting late, but so the training has only been around for a year. It's like a year in July. And it took forever to make. It took like 5 months to make. And the training we had before that was much more, it was in a Facebook group, and it was 10 days long, and it was like small little snippets, but everybody had to stick together on the schedule, right? There was no self-paced. It was like, here's the homework. You got to do it on Tuesday, and we move on Wednesday. So I've actually had great coaches who like really have a tough time with training. And then I have people who love the training and they do amazing in the training, but they don't take action, right? So again, it goes back, you weren't on the call for this, but we were talking about like who's better with 2B mindset versus portion control. And there's two different types of people. There's going to be people that like love the training, and then there's going to be people that won't do the training. They're better kinetically. So my advice to you guys would be, in case this coach of yours is one who does not have the brain type to go through self-paced training, like I would rather shoot myself than go through self-paced training, which is why I struggled so hard. I'm like, should I do self-paced training? But I felt like the pros of self-paced outweighed the struggle that I was feeling with people who were like, I just worked 10 hours. I can't do an hour training on Tuesday night. And then they'd fall behind and they'd get discouraged. So whatever. It was this whole thing. I don't think there's a perfect way to train. I taught myself watching YouTube videos while I nursed a baby. That's all I did. So my advice is to sort of spice up training with your new people. So she's going through training. She's close to Success Club. You want her to sign her wife on. Get a one-on-one with her and be like, okay, so we're going to talk about the decision to go Emerald, and we're going to walk through that. But before we get there, like, talk to me, and do a Zoom call with her. And get her talking to you about like what's going well, what she likes, what feels good, what's hard for her. And so when you sort of marry those two things where you're having that involvement and then she's doing the training, you taking that time to actually kind of mentor her is going to inspire her to go do training if she's not like a training person.
Okay.
Does that make sense? Like she'll hang up with you and be like, oh, I just had an hour-long call with my coach. I feel amazing. She pumped me up. I'm signing up my wife. I'm okay. I'm going to go do a module. Like you're going to give her momentum that she might need if she's stuck. Okay. Right. That doesn't mean that we're dragging people with us, right? Because I ain't going to lead a horse to water and then force her head down to drink. But the point is that when you do that with her and you spend that time with her and you say, okay, we're done with this call now. What are we going to do? What are our takeaways? Sign up your wife, get through the next module of training, snap me a picture of, the 25 people you're going to invite this week. And then we'll schedule another call 2 weeks later.
Yeah.
Right. Kind of like, I'll give you a little, you meet me here. I'll give you a little, you meet me here. And when she's giving back, then she's meeting your pace, because the last thing you want to do is pour into someone who then isn't coaching in 2 months. That like will burn you out.
Yeah. They're very true.
Yeah.
Very true. Yeah. Okay.
Okay, guys.
All right. Thank you. Bye, Stephanie.
Bye, Stephanie. Bye, Amanda. See you later.
All right. Thank you.